Hey, it's JK. So, after the recent brutality of the Demon Souls and Elden Ring mega archery runs, your green-skinned knife guy needed a bit of a break. Break being the operative word, because today that's what we're going to do to Dark Souls. My favourite starting class in the game is the Bandit class, and today I'm going to show you not just how to beat the game, no, but how to absolutely dominate the game and turn it into easy mode using only the starting gear of the Bandit class. Obviously, any rings or consumables we get on the way are allowed, but we'll only use the weapons and armour the Bandit class starts with. This is a build you can easily make yourself, and I think you might be tempted after some of the damage numbers we're going to see today. Many bosses that normally cause players issues get melted. Come with me on this little journey, and I'll show you why this class is so strong, they should have banned it. So, let's take a look at the stats of the Bandit class. Out of all the classes, the Bandit starts with the highest endurance stat, giving you a good amount of stamina and weight load to start with. It also has the highest strength stat and the second highest vitality stat. The starting weapon and shield are also very good, but we'll get into those later. Of course, we pick the master key to start with. Let's get moving. This is personal preference, but I take off the helmet and chest piece so I can light roll even when I pick up the armour and shield. The first step is to run past Asylum Larry through this door and grab our shield and our axe. Up ahead, we get to these stairs, hug the left wall until we get to the second pillar, and then run back down. The ball misses us and smashes the wall. We can now speak to our guy Lemon in here, but it's quicker to hit him with the axe and pick up the stuff he drops. We take out the hollows up ahead, and it's time for the first boss. Now, what the game wants you to do is drop down and perform a plunging attack, pressing the light attack button while you fall to do a big chunk of Asylum Larry's health. But there is actually a better way. For this, we need to do a jump heavy attack. This is achieved by pressing forward and the heavy attack button at the same time. I'd advise you to practice this before going in until you've got the timing down. I find you have to tap forward a split second before pressing the heavy attack. Once you're confident, go through the fog gate and do the jumping heavy right away. If done correctly, you'll do a much more damaging plunging attack. This actually leaves him in range for you to do 2 normal heavy attacks to kill him before he can even do anything. This defeat will leave him pretty sad. He actually turns into the asylum demon. Before leaving, ensure to grab the poppable soul at the side here and then head to the edge to make your way to Firelink. When we arrive in Firelink, it'll tell us to level up, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we grab the humanity and the 2 poppable souls that are readily available. Next, we're going to head down these stairs and take the lift downwards. We head out into this new area and grab yet another poppable soul, head into this doorway, then open up this door with our master key and grab yet another poppable soul. We head across this wooden plank, then head across this bridge here. This dead dragon will actually wake up and likely kill you if you grab these first 2 items, but this third one, which is a large poppable soul, is free for us to grab. Eventually, we come to these blue dragons which are easy enough to run around, and then we can head up this mountain to get a lift to another bonfire. We gotta be careful here because there's a powerful black knight up ahead, but he can be easily kicked off the edge by getting behind him for a backstab. If you're doing this and you don't feel too confident trying to backstab him, then just run past him and head upwards, but the extra souls will be helpful. We keep heading up and make sure to kill this crystal lizard on the way, as it will either drop large titanite shards or a titanite chunk. Ideally, we'd like a chunk, and luckily, we do get one. Once we reach the top, we run left past the shrubbery and then in this building, round the side of the titanite demon, and then make our way up the stairs until we get to the next bonfire. If we pop all of the souls we've picked up, we'll have enough to buy 9 titanite shards and upgrade the battle axe to +5. We now head up, take out these hollows, kill the Berenike Knight in 3 hits, and grab the Firekeeper soul. We then take the lift down to Firelink where we upgrade the Estus flask with the Firekeeper soul, head upwards via the normal route towards Undead Berg until we get to this section here. We take out the hollows and then line ourselves up in this spot right here. Once we're ready, we run up the steps and jump over this fence, hopefully landing on this wall here. We can now roll off into the lower berg. There's a lot of enemies here, so we want to run away quickly, head behind this big bonfire and use it to kill all the enemies in the area. This might take a while, and I'd recommend if you're doing this then you try blocking with your shield as well, just to avoid any additional damage. These 2 dogs near the boss room don't tend to come all the way up, but it's okay because we can kill them carefully using our shield to block damage. For an easier route back, we run up this way, buy charcoal pine resin from the female undead merchant, and then open the shortcut back to Firelink. Capra Demon this early could be pretty dangerous, but if you can run around him and kill one of the dogs early, it helps things along. Once he's dropped down, the other dog should come for you for an easy kill. I then put on the charcoal pine resin. A plunging attack takes off a big chunk of Capra's health. One more, and a slash or two finish him off. Our capragmatic approach pays off. With entry to the depths, we can now jump over this railing, plunge attack the butcher, and then quickly take out her and her dog. This secures us the large Andre for later. But there's no reason to hang out down here, so let's bone home. Back at Firelink, we do the first level up of the run, bringing strength to 24. We now speed back through Undead Berg, of course ensuring to grab the gold pine resin on the way. I then run up and jump over the flaming barrel and crush the crystal lizard up top, who helpfully drops another chunk. Time for Taurus Demon. We all know about the plunging attack, but let's make the most of it. We use charcoal pine resin and use our jumping R2 trick from before. This does so much damage that Taurus is left just 2 hits from death for an easy win. We really tore him a new one here. After running past the bridge with 0 issues, we make it back down to Andre. I give the large Andre to Ember and buy the weaponsmith box before running back down to the Valley of Drakes to get the red tearstone ring, which gives a 50% damage boost when we're under 20% health. Now it's time for Blighttown. With some careful drops, we make it to the bottom quickly. Rolling at the right time is crucial here to avoid the toxic guy, but the spider shield actually gives extra poison resist just by wielding it, so even if we had messed up, one dart shouldn't have been enough to toxic us by itself. The main reason for coming here is the large titanite. There's a couple just lying around as item drops, but you can also kill the leeches that have a chance of dropping some. The drop rate is a bit low though. So instead, we head into the Great Hollow to hunt the many crystal lizards in here. Would you believe that the first one dropped a titanite slab? The others dropped a variety of other useful things like large titanite shards, titanite chunks, quite a few titanite chunks actually. There's also just one lying around in here. Wow, I actually got another slab? What are the odds? So after getting some more large shards and chunks, I had all the materials I needed. Enough crystalling for time. We make our way back out of Blighttown and head into New Londo, getting the transient curse on the way. With this active, I can knock this ghost out of the way to get through the house, and for the second house, I lure all the ghosts outside and then run in, climbing the ladder furiously and hoping they don't catch up. Once we're up top, we easily seal Ingward's fate to get the key he holds. We drain the water and then drop down below, rushing upwards inside this structure to secure ourselves the very large Andre. With all this, we can now return to Andre and upgrade the battle axe to... Ah shit, I miscounted. We're 1 chunk short. I return to New Londo, and look what the second Dark Wraith I killed dropped. I don't think I've ever had this many slabs on me ever. Anyway, after definitely not dying and having to run all the way back down, I grab the last chunk we need from this chest. Now we can max upgrade our battle axe. I also used the poppable souls we'd picked up to level endurance to 20, letting us wear our full armour while light rolling. It's time now to head to the gargoyles. I first kill all the enemies and then drop down this ledge a number of times to get us into red tearstone range. We also use the gold pine resin here. Now, you might think going into the gargoyles fight 1 hit from death is risky, but here's the thing, they're also 1 hit from death. Within mere seconds, they're done. See how abusable this build is? With that, the first bell is rung. Things are looking good. I use the souls to pump up our strength stats some more, and then quickly slaughter Lautrec back at Firelink to get hold of a ring with some favourable bonuses. We head back to Old Blighty now, where I use the poison swamp and some moss I bought earlier to get myself to red tearstone range. We use some gold pine resin again, and get the best possible RNG. Quelaag starts with the long lava spit. This lets us land 4 light attacks, then wait slightly for our stamina to recover, and then land 2 more to finish her off. We kill her so quick, I think the game was Quelagging. We now get the second Sen rung to open Bel's fortress, and quickly go and steal Ceaseless's clothes before killing him. I mean, hey, it's free souls, right? After boning back to Firelink, I level up strength to 35. Domhnall Gleeson is now under the bridge here, so I go to him and buy his 3 gold pine resin, and then stock up on charcoal pine resin from the female undead merchant. Okay, Sen's time. Our axe now takes out the snake men in just 2 light attacks, so getting through is simple enough. For Iron Golem, with red tearstone and charcoal pine resin, 3 hits is actually enough to send him tumbling over the edge to his demise. Another boss go-lemonated in short order. Onwards to Anor Londo. As strength isn't doing that much to our damage anymore, putting some points into dex actually yields some okay numbers, so we level that up instead. I absolutely burn past all these Ians on the rafters and jump to the fog gate. I normally cheese the Silver Knight Archer to fall off the ledge, but it only takes 2 hits to kill him, so might as well do it normally for once. Now for Ornstein and Smough. This is the fight with the most potential so far for things to go wrong. Sadly, I didn't get the good RNG of Ornstein charging at me to start the fight, thus separating himself from Smough. But regardless, it takes just 3 hits to down Ornstein, with me very narrowly dodging Smough's charge when I land the finishing blow. Super Smough takes for sure the most hits of any boss so far, but that doesn't mean he stands a chance. After a quick volley of slices, he lets out a final smoan as he dies. We can now get our hands on the Lord Vessel for fast travel, which we quickly place at Firelink Altar to open up the world. Time for a bit of clear up. With clever use of the drop down to Stray Demon, we get into red tearstone range again. Despite the demon having one of the higher health numbers in the base game, our setup takes just 8 hits to bring him down. We beat his ass so bad we pretty much gave him a prostrate exam. I quickly 2-shot the Black Knight ahead and then grab the Peculiar Doll. We do of course need to handle the Hydra, but I opt to not go into red tearstone range for this one, as the fight is pretty janky and avoiding hits might be tricky. But thanks to our heavy attack, we can take out the Hydra without having to destroy all the heads. This is always a big win, because hitting that last head is a nightmare. We then easily take out the Gold Golem, who definitely didn't smack me a couple of times. Easy kill with 2 hits, you saw nothing else. With that sorted, let's head into the Painted World. First, we make the Undead Dragon into an Undeader Dragon, and then enter to fight Priscilla. This fight was really weird this time. I opted not to go for red tearstone due to not being able to see the scythe attacks, and it's a good thing I did. I hit her so many times, but she never became visible. I guess we must still have been doing good damage though, because she died here after about 5 or 6 hits. FromSoft and their Priscilla mechanics, eh? Now, it should come as no surprise that many of the other optional bosses were just a complete joke. For example, 3 hits turn this bug's arena into a no-fly zone. One thing we could do to improve our build though, is to get a more consistent way to get into red tearstone range. So we buy some dung pies to toxic ourselves and some blooming purple moss to cure it just as we get into range. For the Gaping Dragon, I used gold pine resin as he's weaker to that than fire. I actually nearly killed him the first time he lowered his head, but whiffed on the 4th hit. Oh well, Gaprul fools I guess. 2 more hits ends his life. I took a brief break to check on Babs' mushroom friends, but this Bandit cosplayer ruined my chill moment. Get the hell out of here! Anyway, Sif time. Weirdly, even though it looks like it should, the heavy attack of the axe cannot hit Sif very well when you're underneath them. This led to quite a few whiffs. I'd recommend to stick to the horizontal slashes instead, much easier and will give you a smoother ride and allow you to land the elusive hits. I then grabbed the Hornet Ring here as it'll come in handy later, and also upgraded our dexterity to 30 as that also boosts the damage of our axe. Right, time to get some Lord Souls. Let's start with the 4 Kings. I actually opted to remove the Ring of Favour and Protection here as I still wanted that red tearstone damage buff. Plus, more health and stamina doesn't help when you get the RNG where they start with the projectile and the explosion. Very inconsiderate. Okay, let's try this again. This time, the king again started with the explosion, but I avoided it and, despite taking a hit that I somehow survived, I took down the king quickly. The second one joined shortly after, and again we get behind and cut him down. I had hoped to make this a 3 king fight, but I ended up 1 hit short. The last one tried to give me a hug and beg forgiveness, but I cut him off before he could axe the question. I now decided to put any extra levels from this point into endurance so we can land more hits. With that, we now need to brave the terror of the catacombs. Let's talk for a moment. If you've been paying attention to our build so far, you probably know that Pinwheel is going to be the true brick wall of the run. Even trying to attack with our build would be a fool's errand. So what to do? Well, luckily we have Paladin Leroy, who we can summon in to help with this fight. Once we reach the boss arena, I steer well clear of Pinwheel, not daring to attack and just keeping my shield up. Leroy thankfully has the damage to Gwyn as the fight in short order. Up ahead, in Tomb of the Giants, we go to grab the Skull Lantern, but probably not for the reason you're thinking. You see, by this point, I know my way through the Tomb of the Giants, so I'm happy to trade away the Skull Lantern for the Ring of Fog, making it harder for enemies to see us. This is essential for the boss fight up ahead with Gravelord Nito. I toxic myself and then take the forced fall damage. We can now wait for Nito to come close, but his skeleton cronies will leave us alone as the Ring of Fog keeps us outside their aggro range. Once we're in Red Tearstone range, we cure up the toxic, apply charcoal pine resin, and then take Nito out in about 7 hits. I wonder why he limps so much. Maybe he stubbed his knee toe on the way over here? Now, it should go without saying that the Izalith boss gauntlet was less of a gauntlet and more of a pleasant walk. Despite having a massive amount of health, the axe cut through this demon, making him expire Sage shortly after. For Centipede Demon, we toxic ourselves outside the fight, and then use the lava to reduce our health more as we get over to the corner area. We use gold pine resin for this one, as he's obviously immune to fire. We bait the slam, cut off his arm, and then run and hit him with 4 attacks to expede our progress through this area. Of course, the Izalith Pyromancer gets destroyed, and this bug gets put to bed. With some more endurance under our belt, we head to the last Lord Soul area, the Duke's Archives. With Red Tearstone active, it takes just 2 hits to bring down the blue golem for the broken pendant. It's worth noting here that the Ring of Fog is really useful for some of this area, like up here where you need to get the big door key. Normally the snake men all aggro on you at once, but the Ring of Fog prevents that from happening, letting you take them out one by one. Seath is our final Lord Soul, and if you think our setup didn't absolutely smoke him, then you'd be very far wrong. With the crystal broken, the Red Tearstone and Charcoal Pine Resin combo eviscerates Seath's health on a scale never seen before. I realised at this point I'd forgot about Gwyndolin, but I didn't have the Dark Moon Seance Ring or a ranged attack to hit Guinevere. Fun fact, you cannot kill Guinevere with dung pies. Firebombs do the trick though. I again didn't opt for Red Tearstone for this fight, but it wasn't really necessary anyway. 5 hits total was all it took to send him 6 feet sunder. Okay, now it's time at last to test the build against the DLC, containing the toughest bosses in the game. The first boss we'll be seeing is Ian, the forever favourite of the JK Leeds channel. Unfortunately, that won't save him from 4 hits in rapid succession being enough to take him out. We gave him such a whipping, he went from Sanctuary Guardian to Spanctuary Guardian. Beyond him, we meet Elizabeth the Mushroom, who has 5 more gold pine resin for us. Useful. All the bosses from this point have much higher resistance to damage, so we will definitely see some kind of damage drop-off. Artorias is first up. Now, I said there'd be a damage drop-off, but despite supposedly having higher resistances, this didn't feel like it. The damage numbers were still kinda big. This took just 7 hits to kill Artorias, and that was with 2 of the hits being during his buff animation where he takes half the normal amount of damage. This fight was so short that myself and Artorias were like 2 ships passing in the night. Town in Ulasil downship, I unnecessarily used gold pine resin to take out the Mimic for the crest key. Goth then aura farms by grounding Calamite in the best cutscene of the game. Calamite himself actually holds a special place in this run. He was the first boss that took more than a minute to kill. He's got some questionable head hitboxes which I was keen to avoid. Staying near his legs and running away from the majority of his attacks with good positioning works really well. It still doesn't take too many slashes for him to eat the dirt. Right, let's head to the Abyss. We had a ball on the way taking out the prisoner in just 4 hits. Now, for Manus, it's important that you swap in the Calamity Ring before you go into the fight. You might be wondering, why would we want to do that for him? Well, it's simple really. We want to humiliate him. The longer we fight him and don't get hit while wearing the ring, the more psychic damage it does to him. This took more hits than most other bosses so far, as I had to hit Manus a total of 11 times to actually kill him. But I could tell as the fight went on, he felt more and more dread, more fear, and most of all more embarrassment that the Bandit class was so superior to him in every way. Make sure you also wear the Calamity Ring for this fight, I promise you won't regret it. With one last hit, we send Simon Manus back to Liza P. Oh, also, you gotta make sure to kill Dusk, 100% worth it. Do not do this build unless you're prepared to bury your axe into Dusk's skull. We now make the Lord Soul Soup to open the way to Gwyn. On the way there, I made sure this knight hit me perfectly to get me to red Tearstone range. What do you mean that was an accident? That was planned. That was planned. Anyway, there's actually two ways we can approach Gwyn. First, parry his initial attack, but instead of riposting, just hit him twice. 2 hits with the axe stagger him, regain some stamina, and do it again. He may jump away, but another 2 hits stagger him again, and a final one ends him. Alternatively, you can just go parry and riposte all the way. The Hornet Ring means that each riposte does nearly half his health. However you prefer to play, you've got a choice of Gwyn conditions. Given our domination here, the only logical choice is to use the Dark Lord ending. There we go, Dark Souls completely destroyed with just the Bandit class starting gear. I hope you enjoyed this kind of different video, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these actually strong builds. Until next time, I've been JK Leeds, see ya, and have a good one.